Gwendolyn Elsa Gibson was born on April 13, 1934, in the Bahamas General Hospital, Nassau, Bahamas. She was the second of three children born to Raymond Stanley Sweeting and Bernice Arlene Sweeting née Gibson. Her sister, Angela, Agnes, and brother, Charles Stanley, were also born at the Bahamas General Hospital, and they resided in Jail Alley, a tight-knit neighborhood in the Grantstown community. Raymond, their father, served as a butler, and their mother Bernice in the early years was the homemaker. At the age of 9, Gwen became the sister in charge of their mother, took on the position of housekeeper to a family with residences both in the Bahamas and the United States. These early years of responsibility shaped her character, and she remained committed and faithful to all other responsibilities throughout her life. In these times, when their mother was away from the family, Mr. Sweeting protected his children fiercely and loved them intensely. On June 29, 1950, at St. Agnes Church, Gwen was joined in holy matrimony to Jervis Luther Gibson, a tall, handsome young man who hailed from Landrell Point, Crooked Island. They were a beautiful couple. They resided on Taylor Street off Market Street, and in quick succession welcomed 4 children: Frederick, Anthony Andrew, Jervis Arthur, Paula Elsa, and Stephanie Arlene Vivian. Gwen, with the beautiful smile and smooth skin, had her hands full with the children, and her home became the place to stay for all the Crooked Island relatives. She was gracious and attentive to all who entered her house. Those still alive can recount fond memories of their times with Uncle Jervis and Aunt Gwen in Taylor Street. It was also in Taylor Street that Gwen met one of her oldest and dearest friends, the now deceased Avis Marina Sands. Circumstances resulted in Gwen moving back to Jail Alley to live with her father, where he nurtured and doted on the grandchildren, showering them with the same ardent love which he showered on his children. It was while they were with their grandfather that they were schooled in the Anglican traditions. Daily masses, sometimes with 3 services on Sunday, all at St. Agnes Church, and with the spiritual guidance of Father Milton Cooper. During this period, Gwen also gave birth to 2 more sons, Maxwell Warren and Keith Timothy. In 1960, Gwendolyn's father died, and there ensued years of struggle. Gwendolyn had never held a full-time job outside the home. With the death of her beloved father, she became a single parent to her 6 children and a nephew. For a time, she also took on the care of her sister Angie, who was born legally blind. With the passing of her dad, Gwen, at 26, became a working woman, and she did the only thing she knew: she cooked. Her first job was at the Montague Hotel on the corner of Shirley Street and East Bay Street. She rode her bicycle back and forth to work, and then came home and worked some more. She was also a cook at various other establishments, including Nassau Beach Hotel, 3 Queens Restaurant, and the Town Hotel. There was no time for company. She made budgets, planned lunches and meals, and created schedules for chores. She ran her household with a firm hand, even as she found time to play with and cater to her children. She would spin top or shoot marbles with the boys, and played jacks and changed baby doll clothes with the girls. Her life was church, children, and work. Her getaway was reading, and she read voraciously. Novels, ladies' magazines, medical journals, comic books, you name it, and she read it. Her love of reading was passed on to several of her children. She also had a green thumb and was known to cultivate spinach on her fence. She also loved to put together puzzles with the children, the 3,000 to 5,000 piece varieties. When Keith, the youngest of her children, graduated from high school, Gwen started on another passion: travel. As a member of the Elks Lodge, she traveled annually to conventions in the United States with pots and pans in her suitcase to cook. She also enjoyed traveling to Canada and Europe. On one occasion, she traveled to Europe alone because on her first trip she did not get to visit all the churches she had on her list. Always strong-willed. By this time, Gwen had started her own cottage industry of cooking lunch for bankers and teachers. She cooked for her clients the same way she cooked for her family, serving generous portions with a big smile. She would meticulously pick crabs and make batches of stuffed crabs for her family and routinely serve up conch salad and conch fritters or pea soup and dumplings just because. It was never too much trouble to cook for her family. She also started a tradition where on her children's birthdays, she would prepare their favorite meals, copious amounts and enough for family and their special friends. Her potato salad was the best. The constant and the anchor of Gwen's life all through these decades was St. Agnes Church. She attended the 7 a.m. Mass and even sung without fail and sat in the same pew, the last pew in the guard room on the main aisle side. She did not make a fuss about the seat. However, because she was at services sometimes an hour in advance, the seat was always available. In the time before services, she was humble enough to sweep in front of the church gate and arrange mass and hymn books. Many people mistook her for being the sexton because she completed the sexton's duties with regularity. She also did not hold her peace in telling anyone how to act in church. Gwendolyn was also an unofficial usher, a member of the Bible study group, and a team member of the soup kitchen, all before those ministries became official. If the early decades of Gwen's 88-year-old life was streaked with struggle, the latter decades were years of ease and rest. As time went on, she limited her attendance to Sunday services and feast day masses, which she remembered without a lectionary would pointedly state the correct colors to be worn. Gwen was taken to hospital on Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. After a brief stay in hospital, she died peacefully at home shortly after 3 a.m. on Thursday, September 29th, 2022, the feast of Michael and all angels. Gwen said often that she had had a good life, and towards the end, she repeatedly said that she was ready. We are glad that the Father saw fit to grant her ready request without any lingering illness or ailments. Our 62-inch giant of a mother, with an indomitable spirit, is now with her Creator God, and with broken hearts, we release her to His care.
Mom, mother, mom, Gwen, Kippy, Brown, number 1 to be exact. My brother and I spent countless days at her second terrace home. We were free to play in the parking lot, but she would never leave us alone. How convenient that she lived near our school as well as our mother's employ. She often walked us to and from this little girl and boy. She nursed us with honey and lemon anytime that we were sick. If you thought about being bad, she'd give you the eye real quick. I have no intention to lie. I want to tell you about the brown paper bag. At church, my mother sat in the chapel. I preferred to join Granny in the back, probably because she gave me Fox's mints and because she and Sybil sometimes would talk and smile. My grandmother was the one person who literally helped me see. Because I couldn't read the numbers on the hymn board, she knew something was wrong with me. Wearing glasses in school sure was a drive, but in short order, I have to get to the brown paper bag. In college, as an adult, we bonded when she stayed with me in Georgia and in Maryland for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. On our first road trip to Carolina, she was my GPS, kept me posted on speed limits, followed road signs, and printed maps. When time came for me to move from one apartment to the next, while I went to work and attended class, she stayed and packed the rest. The most memorable part I'm going to flag, it's time to explain the brown paper bag. Breakfast was off the chain. She must have woken at 4, maybe 3. Always cooked with the stove on low, she said. Never cooked in a hurry. Every meal was wrapped in foil, flawlessly presented on the plate. Grits and tuna or sardines or sausage were some of the things we ate. Corned beef and egg sandwiches, stuffed pork chops and steamed fish. Not a single one of these scrumptious meals was something you wanted to miss. Baked chicken or soup, pumpkin, okra or peas, these were restaurant quality dishes she could not compromise. Rest assured, whatever it was, your plate was certainly timed because she wrote your name on your brown paper bag. Understand that your plate was not generic. It was tailored just for you. If you didn't like beets, she replaced it with corn and probably coleslaw too. No meat for Camilla, no fish for John, no fish head for Auntie. Don't knock the spoon on the side of the pan. Pot cake for Steph, pepper for me, Max and Keith. Better say something positive before she gets her tea. Everything down to the salad dressing. Everything down to the salad dressing was fitted to your wants and needs. Her talent in the kitchen, I don't quite think any of us could supersede. She didn't have to give us gifts. Her food would hit the spot. Every ounce of love she had was stirred into a pot. Everyone has their Grammy, and I don't want to brag, but my Grammy made me feel special with just a brown paper bag.
I just want to say 3 things about Mom. Mom was caring, loving, and not in a hugging kiss I love type of way, but she showed her love. You know, saying brown paper bags, put your name on it, and made you feel special. Mom was also very consistent. If she liked you, she loved you. If she didn't like you, you didn't have to worry. You didn't have to wonder where you stood with Mom. And the last thing, Mom left a piece of her with all of us. You know, she said in the will that she had no worldly possessions. Don't fight over anything. And I think she left whatever she had with us. All of us, I think, have a piece of Mom with us. You know, and in our past, you know, I realized how many different things she meant to so many different people. And we are the family, and I can thank all of you for your outpouring of love and your condolences. And let's take a page out of Mom's book. You know, let's leave it all behind. You know, let's not get caught up in worldly possessions. into the way of peace, having taken away the sin of the world.
Lord is ended.